We'd love to think about geniuses and experts and rewarding those people in our workplaces, but that is not always actually the best strategy for collective intelligence. I want to tell you about a study that I just read because I think it's really interesting. In this study, they were interested in what kinds of reward structures would make a group more collectively intelligent. Not just one person succeeding or another person succeeding the most, but actually the group as a whole. Like, what makes this group most innovative and successful? They tested different ways to reward contributors to a collective solution. One of the ways was this lone genius model that most of us assume is usually the best way for teams to work. So think of this like the one person who was the most accurate is the person who gets rewarded the most. But the interesting thing is, in that situation, the group's collective intelligence actually went down. One of the reasons this happens is because people become less creative and less innovative if everyone is just following and copying experts. This is one reason that hero cultures can really stifle innovation. People actually don't always recognize good ideas in the first place. And if you distract everybody by making them think that they have to look like an expert all the time, they're not necessarily going to iterate and experiment as much as you want them to. In this study, they also found that if you had a reward structure where the people who most got rewarded were group reformers, people who were interested in the group's overall progression, even if those people were not themselves actually the most accurate, a reward structure that rewarded those people created the most innovative groups. I think this is kind of fascinating because it pushes against such deeply held beliefs we have about genius and about what creates success for us in our shared environments. I see this all the time in my own research. I've studied things like how learning cultures operate as a critical mediator. That means like a thing that's all around us in the environment that shapes our environment and changes the possibilities that we can see for ourselves. Teams with strong learning cultures still care really deeply about performance, but they kind of care about it in a different way. They see different possibilities for who could be high performing, and they don't fixate on single heroes. This probably has long-term great consequences for the ability of divergent solutions to surface. Or in the less jargony way, you're allowed to riff, you're allowed to be creative, you're allowed to experiment. The hero lone genius kind of thing is sort of a mental trap that bogs us down because it makes us feel like we have to conform to this pre-existing stereotype that's in our minds about what genius should look like.